When I said I was going to read Stormfront, fans of the Dresden Files were on the defensive before I even started reading the book. They would say things like, the series gets so much better after this book, or some would even say, you can skip Stormfront, you won't be missing too much. Now I have a bit of a stormy, pun intended, take on all that, which is going to blow in when this weather warning gets to Category 5. But until then, batten down your hatches, brace yourself, as we open the Dresden Files. What up, fiction fan? Welcome to Down to Read if this is your first time here, or thanks for coming back if you're a regular. We see you and we appreciate you. My name is Steven, and this is my spoiler-free review of Jim Butcher's urban fantasy novel and book one of the Dresden Files, Stormfront. I've been reading quite a few darker books recently with some pretty dark themes, so from this book I was looking for a palate cleanser and of course a bit of fun. Did it achieve that goal for me? And will I read more books in this series, which is currently 18 books long and with plans for it to be 25 books in total? Let's talk about it. Stormfront is told from the perspective of Chicago's favorite and only wizard private investigator, Harry Dresden. His assistance is sought to help solve two cases. One, a woman wants help finding her husband who's become obsessed with magic and is now missing. Two, the Chicago PD has reached out to him for some contract work, which he does from time to time, to help solve a pretty gruesome, grisly double murder case, which they suspect may have been caused by some black magic. Harry is not in a financial position to refuse a job, so he accepts both cases and gets to work. Harry isn't without his flaws. I'll get to a pretty big one later in the video. But first, let me say that I appreciated that while he was generally confident in his PI and wizard abilities, especially when he had his magical instruments handy, he also needed to lean on a colourful cast of characters to help get the job done. Not a Batman type.
I'm Batman.
But not a bumbling hero stumbling his way through things either. This cast of character that lends Harry a hand, metaphorically speaking, includes a babbling, wisecracking skull, a vampire madame who runs a escort service, and a crime lord who, well, he's just a crime lord. But that's what this book does well. In true urban fantasy fashion, blends supernatural elements with a contemporary urban setting. If like me, you're fairly new to urban fantasy, think maybe Buffy.
You're gonna get heartburn.
Or True Blood.
Suck it.
While on the topic of urban fantasy,
Loosely tangential ranting coming!
do people remember when CD stores existed and they had that urban section? What was that all about? No one says, I listen to urban music. It just felt like a way for CD stores to lump predominantly African American artists all in together. Not cool, now defunct compact disc stores. Not cool. Anyway, tangential rant over. Now back to the book. So where were we? Harry, our flawed but capable character, has to solve these two seemingly unrelated cases. This financial strain of Harry's, as well as the stress of trying to solve these cases, might seem like enough for Harry to worry about. But have I mentioned there's also a sort of wizard government known as the White Council, who suspect Harry of this double murder because it was likely caused by black magic and, well, Harry's the only wizard in town.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Things aren't looking good for Harry. Will Harry pull through okay? Well, you can probably hazard a guess at that considering there's another 17 of the books in the series at the moment. A missing persons case and a grisly double murder might not seem like the light read I said I was after at the start of this video. But oh, it was. Look no further than the potion-making, wisecracking, talking skull to know that this book doesn't take itself too seriously, and it was the palate cleanser that I was after. Also, I quite enjoyed the urban fantasy setting, and I think I might check out more books in this genre. Felt like a crime noir novel, a bit pulpy at times, with a heavy dose of magic crammed in there. I also enjoyed that they were pretty low stakes compared to a lot of fantasy novels. The fate of the world didn't rest on whether or not the wizard was going to solve these cases. Now back to Harry's big flaw, which I alluded to earlier. I'm not sure if sexist or chauvinistic is the right word. Some people I've seen even describe him as more chivalrous. To me, it came across like Harry had a bit of a hero complex. He either saw women as damsels in distress, or he objectified them, or both. And yeah, that didn't quite jive with me. I completely get why this might be enough for some readers to not want to continue this series. I wouldn't go that far. I can read characters with flawed perspectives, especially if we see some personal growth from them, which I understand we do later in the series. I'm not giving up on you, Harry. This is the first book in the series, so I'll give Jim Butcher a bit of slack with these next few points that weren't really for me, but the antagonist was not particularly interesting. Pretty one-dimensional. Despite being essentially a detective novel with some magic, it wasn't much of a whodunit, as it was pretty obvious how these cases had occurred fairly early on in the book. Things fall and connect into place a little bit too conveniently for Harry at times. I give Stormfront 3 stars.
Warning, Stormy take imminent.
People say that this book is far and away the worst book in the series, and I just gave it 3 stars, so it's not like I'm running out and telling everyone to go read it. But this book was all I want from my wizard detective stories. A light read, doesn't take up too much bandwidth, just kick back and escape for a while. This may sound ridiculous, but if these books get too good, or too epic, they may lose their appeal to me. I still want to see Harry mature over time, and the writing could be sharper, but I don't need some grandiose plot. And I'm worried that's coming, and if it does come, that could be the end of me and Harry. Have you read any of the Dresden Files books? Let us know what you thought of them in the comments, or perhaps there's another urban fantasy book you think we should read. Let us know. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit us with a like, and subscribe if you want to see some more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, we appreciate you, but for now, we out. Zhoosh. Okay, all clear. Come on, what type of rain even is this?